beans off the shelf or any other source where you can have fresh roasted beans at Lake Mountain Coffee, 131 West Broad Street in Statesville.
Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the saddle here. It's time for some Scoreboard on WSIC 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Phone number, dial me up if you have something on your mind. Maybe you want to chat with me about some of the sports happenings over the weekend. I do got to apologize to everybody. I started feeling ill Friday afternoon and was unable to be here for the show. So we have quite a bit to talk about because I didn't even have a chance to talk to you guys about the Hall of Fame game. I know it's kind of late news at this moment and we're into a new week and the rest of the NFL is going to begin their preseason this week. Yes, you heard me correct. The rest of the NFL is beginning their preseason this week. We're still going to go over some things that happened from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As like I said, I was not in studio on Friday, but we are here live on this Monday. So dial me up, 844 Studio 4. There is a lot to go over today. We have an update on the Olympic medal count. Man, the United States, they are dominating the total medal count right now, which is wonderful. I love seeing Team USA, no matter whether it's basketball, water polo, rugby, I don't know, everything. I love seeing us do good. Matter of fact, the most medals that we have is in swimming. I don't know if anybody keeps up with the specific sports and how many medals we get. 8 gold medals, 13 silver medals, and 7 bronze medals for a total of 28 medals in swimming competitions. I don't know why, but the U.S. is really good at swimming. Have been since, who knows, forever. The United States has 73 total medals right now. They trail the People's Republic of China, which is how they are represented here in the Olympics. People's Republic of China has 21 gold medals. The United States has 20 gold medals. So there is still time, though, for the United States to own not only the silver, not only the bronze, but also the gold medal. We're going to get into a lot of Olympic talk as well. Simone Biles getting a gold medal over the weekend and a silver medal here recently today. Will she be back next year? Man, there's a lot to consider. Also, around the world of sports, it's back. Yes, it is back. The NASCAR Cup Series returns this weekend. Oh, my goodness. And they don't return fully loaded, which is incredible to me. You take 2 weeks off, and it's just the trucks and the Cup cars that are racing. Why does that Xfinity get a third week off? That doesn't make sense to me. Xfinity racing has been the best type of racing over the past, 2 years or so, I'd say? So it's just interesting. We come back to racing after the Olympic break, and, we don't have a full slate of all of the cups, all of the series going at it here when we get to Richmond on Sunday. So we'll spend some time throughout the week talking about Richmond, we're going to talk a lot of football this week. I don't quite know what my final outlook for the Panthers season is. Last year, I thought we were going to be decent, somewhere around 500. I think I predicted 7-10, somewhere around there. The season was going to start off terrible, but then they were going to kind of even out. Well, it started off terrible, and it never got any better. I don't want to make the mistake of saying that they're going to be decent this year, but also I don't want to say they're going to be terrible because I don't think they're going to be terrible. New head coach, a second-year quarterback now. He's got some weapons on offense. Xavier Legette is going to be an absolute dog for this team for a few years here. And I only say a few years here because we really don't know what the tendency of David Tepper is when it comes to signing star players. But I do fully believe that Xavier Legette is going to be a star for the Panthers. He is already a star for the Panthers without even taking the field. Just every time he opens his mouth, the crowd goes crazy in this area. And if you've seen any of the interviews with him, you probably know why the crowd goes crazy, because he just sounds like a good old country boy. He has the thickest Southern accent I've ever heard. It's crazy. And then he has the gall to say, I don't even consider myself Southern, man. Yeah, what? Do you hear yourself talk? Yeah, you're pretty Southern over there. But 844-STUDIO-4, 844-788-3464. Let's start the conversation in Major League Baseball territory. I know I didn't really preview that here at the beginning of the show, but I got to let you guys know about Bobby Whitt Jr. And we've talked about him over the past, I'd say, month and a half. A really good player for the Kansas City Royals, but he plays in Kansas City, so you might not hear about him all that much. But what I can tell you is ever since All-Star Weekend, Bobby Whitt Jr. has been a celebrity of sorts. In the month of July, get this, in the month of July, Bobby Whitt Jr. hit 489. Oh, he almost hit 500 in the month of July, which is absolutely insane. He also has a 25-game hit streak. I can't tell you if I think that he's going to actually break any kind of records with how he's been batting over late, because it's a long season. We really don't know. There's still a long way to go in the MLB season. But ever since the All-Star break, Bobby Whitt Jr. has been the best player in baseball. He is now second in the MVP odds behind Aaron Judge for the American League MVP. And I don't know what it would take, to be honest, but Aaron Judge is having some year. He's hitting .322. He's got an OPS of 1.157, which is insane, and he's already got 41 home runs on the season. When you look at the Yankees, they played 111 games. They got 51 games left. Can he hit 20 home runs in 51 games? I think he can. You know, we might see another Aaron Judge record-breaking home run performance this year. And I was having a conversation with somebody about Aaron Judge, and oh my goodness, wouldn't it be something if Aaron Judge broke the all-time home run record? That's not going to happen. He got a late start to his career. You got to remember, he has not been in the league all that long. He started in 2016, which was 8 years ago. He is already 32 years old. And his first year was nothing to write home about either. He's 2 home runs away from 300. The record's over 700, or whatever you want to believe the all-time home run record is. But Aaron Judge, MVP leader for the American League. Bobby Whitt Jr. hit 489 in the month of July. That's almost unheard of. We got to go to our first commercial break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk some more baseball. We'll look into the world of the Olympics and much more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off the new work week on a hot and humid note. Temperatures climb into the upper 80s, near 90 this afternoon, and mainly dry. Just a low chance of a pop-up shower or storm, but I don't think we have much to worry about. We'll stay mild as we fall back into the low 70s overnight for our Tuesday. Pretty much the same story, mainly dry, just a couple of pop-up showers or storms. High temperatures are up near 90 for the afternoon. Watching the middle of the week closely as Debbie rides up the southeast coast. Could bring us some rain. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free Thursday concert series with Hey Ladies on August 8th. Hey Ladies brings the best music from the new wave era to life. Catchy choruses and fun beats will encourage you to get up and dance. Langtree Live welcomes lawn chairs, has food and drink for sale in the afternoon and evening, with the Hey Ladies concert beginning at 7 p.m. The Second Friday Street Festival is back for the August edition. Celebrate in style on Friday at the Oak Street Mill in Cornelius with live music, local craft breweries, food trucks, sweet treats, artisans, vendors, a kids zone, games, and giveaways. Call your neighbors, leash up your pups, and come celebrate at the Second Friday Street Festival in Cornelius beginning at 5 p.m. Downtown Statesville opens up for a family-friendly day of fun on the second Saturday of every month. Broad Street welcomes pop-up vendors, raffles, event day specials, do-it-yourself experiences, and more. The second Saturday day of fun begins at 11 a.m. in downtown Statesville. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Drum Landscape Supply is the go-to spot for anything you need for your yard. Transform your landscaping. Drum Landscape Supply has trees, flowers, natural stone, custom blended grass seed, mulch, and more. Plus, they deliver. DrumLandscapeSupply.com.
24/7 worldwide, non-stop.
WSIC.
Local starts here. It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard on this I thought it was a beautiful day. I look outside and the sun's peeking through, but it's raining. All right. I guess Debbie's here. Debbie, the hurricane. Anybody? No? Okay. All right. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. You are listening to the Scoreboard. I'll be here with you for about the next, let's call it 41 minutes, 40 and a half minutes, 40 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever you want to call it. We're here for a bit of time. If you're out there driving home and you see this weather, take it easy out there. Need everybody getting home safe. I need everybody getting home safe because I got a long drive to get home. I don't want to be stuck in any traffic, okay? Take it easy out there, guys. Anyway, we were talking about Major League Baseball on the other side of the break. A little bit of a MVP battle starting to heat up between Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge and Bobby Whitt Jr. My goodness, Bobby Whitt Jr. has had some year. He is currently hitting .344. And he's got 20 home runs. He's having a good year. But batting .344 it's almost It's completely unheard of, okay? In today's day and age of baseball, you got your 3 true outcome players. And a lot of baseball players fall into this category. Now, I'm not saying every single one. I'm saying a lot of them do. You get up to the plate, you're either going to get a hit. You're either going to hit a home run, you're going to strike out, or you're going to walk. That's what 3 true outcomes mean. And Bobby Whitt, at the age of 24, he is not one of those players, in my opinion. He is more old school in the way he plays the game. He hit 30 home runs last year, which is definitely a good year, but he hit for average more than anything. And, in his first year, not great. Second year was better. This year, he has really stormed the scene, being one of the best players in baseball. And I mean best. When you hit 489 in the month of July, people's heads are going to turn because you don't hear about that anymore. You don't hear about people batting for average. You hear about people striking out 30 times in a month and hitting 15 home runs to go along with it. That's just the reality of baseball now. But Bobby Whitt, man, if you want old school baseball, if you want somebody who plays the game the way it used to be played, watch some Royals games. Hey, I say that like it's going to be easy. Like it's going to be, hey, just turn on the TV and go watch the Royals. No. Baseball makes it very difficult to watch their product. But if you have a way to do it, go watch some Bobby Whitt Jr. That guy is legendary this year. Some other things going on around the world of baseball. A quick look at the standings. The Yankees and the Orioles, same amount of games played. They are now tied in the standings. And I'll tell you what, the Boston Red Sox are only 6.5 games behind. In the AL Central, the Cleveland Guardians lead the Minnesota Twins by 4.5 games, and they lead the Royals by 5 games. A couple of teams there looking for a wild card berth. The AL West is where it gets interesting. You have the Mariners leading the division at 59 wins and 54 losses. Well, when you sort by wild card, they are the final team, the last team of the AL leaders. Cleveland, Baltimore, New York, and Seattle. The Astros are a game back of the Mariners. But even though they're a game back of the Mariners, they are not in the best shape when it comes to a wild card berth. Whoever wins that division, the team that finishes second, whether it's by a game and a half, 2, maybe they get 3, maybe it gets blown out by the end of the year. You never know. But Houston is 5 games back of the wild card right now. 5 games back of the wild card while simultaneously being 1 game back of the division lead. So that division is going to be very interesting to take a look at as we reach the end of the year, the AL West, that is. Looking on the National League side of things, the Phillies, man, they have been cold lately. 2-8 in their last 10. They did win their most recent game, which, that's big, but they got a game tonight against the Dodgers as well. The Braves 6 games back in that division. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the NL Central by 5.5 over the Pirates. And the Dodgers have a 4.5 game lead over the Padres. Padres have been a hot baseball team lately, really cutting into that lead. I'm just excited for October baseball. I know everybody else is. We got all of August, and we got all of September. That's the rest of the regular season for baseball. And yes, it is going to go square into the NFL season. It always does. So you might not hear a lot of headlines out of the end of the Major League Baseball season, unless it has to do with, standings and who's going to make the playoffs and whatnot. But I wouldn't anticipate too many big news stories breaking. But what I will say is once we get into October, baseball is going to be right back in the forefront. Even though the NFL is going to be going on, baseball has the luxury of a lot of weekday games. So they'll be definitely getting some attention during the playoffs. And when you attach the word playoffs to anything, it's going to really impact them. That is the world of baseball right now. Real quick, before we move on to Olympics, the NASCAR Cup Series comes back this weekend. And we have a little bit of news attached to it. Not really something that I expected, but when we get to Watkins Glen a little bit later in the year, 2311 will be fielding a third car for that race. And the driver, you're going to love this, the driver is going to be Juan Pablo Montoya, former champion of IndyCar. He's raced NASCAR. He's raced Formula One champion. But man, Juan Pablo Montoya getting back in a NASCAR Cup Series race car. I did not have that on my bingo board for 2024. Juan Pablo Montoya is 48 years old right now, and he's getting back in a NASCAR Cup Series car. I don't know what he's going to think. If you remember when Juan Pablo made it into the Cup Series, and he would talk about the cars and how they drive and whatnot, I can't wait to hear what he has to say about the current NASCAR race cars, the next-gen car, where it's not a shifter. You don't have a gear shift. You just kind of have a sequential shifter. You don't have paddles, but they're only a couple of years away from adding paddle shifters onto a NASCAR. I promise. Maybe not that drastic. But Juan Pablo Montoya back in action for NASCAR Cup Series racing. That will be a lot of fun. A little information for you as we head to Richmond this weekend. Saturday, you're going to have practice and qualifying for Cup and Trucks a little bit later on in the afternoon. And then Friday night, it's the Clean Harbors 250, 7:30. And on Sunday, you know what's going to be taking place. It's the Cookout 400. Now, I find this interesting. NASCAR is racing on a Sunday night this week. Sunday at 6 o'clock is the race time. Maybe not necessarily night with, how late the sun sets. But I will say that having a Sunday night race when there is no national holiday that coming Monday is a little bit of a change for NASCAR. And I think it might have to do with the Olympics and the Olympic schedule. So when you look at the Olympic schedule and go through the overview of what's still to come, we still have a lot of events, by the way. But the final day of events is August 11th. August 11th, okay? That, August 11th, is a Sunday. So NASCAR comes back that Sunday. They're going to be on USA. They're not going to be on NBC, closing ceremonies, all that fun stuff, last games. But I think the reason that NASCAR is not going to be racing on a Saturday is because there's just too many Olympic events going on that Saturday. When you look at the schedule, there are a lot of medals that need to be handed out on the penultimate day of Olympic competition. So I think that has something to do with it. But at the same time, if you're NASCAR, I don't know why you don't just move the race time up to 4 o'clock or so on a Sunday. It just seems weird having a race start that late on a Sunday when we're used to night races being on a Saturday or on a Sunday when we don't have anything on Monday, like a national holiday. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off the new work week on a hot and humid note as temperatures climb into the upper 80s near 90 this afternoon. And Mainly dry, just a low chance of a pop-up shower or storm, but I don't think we have much to worry about. We'll stay mild as we fall back into the low 70s overnight for our Tuesday. Pretty much the same story, mainly dry, just a couple of pop-up showers or storms. High temperatures are up near 90 for the afternoon. Watching the middle of the week closely as Debbie rides up the southeast coast. Could bring us some rain. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at Desco was second to none.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
This is Fred Lowry at Lowry Drug. We now have our own brand of full-spectrum hemp extract, also known as CBD oil. I personally manage this product as it was grown on my farm here in Iredell County. It was then processed and bottled here in Statesville. This is a true herbal extract with all the medicinal components intact. A product you can trust to be authentic. And since there is no wholesaler, it's at a price you can afford. Try it at Lowry Drug on Hartness Road in Statesville.
For over 57 years, Nelson Royals has been serving the Lake Norman, Mooresville, Statesville, and surrounding counties. Nelson Royals has work in Western clothing and over 4,000 boots and shoes in stock. Brands like Ariat, Rocky, Justin, Durango, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Thorogood, Skechers, Hey Dude, and many more. Check them out at NelsonRoyals.com.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to TillyHD.com.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. As sports fans, it is easy to envy successful teams. After all, everybody wants their favorite team to win, but we can get so jealous when we see other teams win. Unfortunately, these same feelings of envy often exist outside of sports too. Jealousy can quickly set in when we find out about the successes that other people experience in their lives. It's easy to compare ourselves to others, what they have or what they're doing. We can even get caught up in envy over how others serve the Lord. We must ultimately realize, however, the need to focus on our own personal obedience and heart toward Jesus. Envy can be very dangerous when taking root, but the Bible says a tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. Today, let's shift our jealous eyes away from everyone else and focus on the many blessings God graciously pours down on us. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street suffered another day of sell-offs as the Dow lost 1,034 points or 2.6%. The Nasdaq fell 576 points or 3.4%, while the S&P dropped by 3%. A federal judge has ruled that Google's payments to Apple, Samsung, and others to make its search engine the default on smartphone web browsers violates U.S. antitrust laws. Judge Amit Mehta said that the payments totaling $26 billion block competitors from succeeding in the market, handing a big victory to the Justice Department. Being the default search engine has helped Google to generate over $300 billion in annual revenue from search ads. Tyson Foods beating analysts' expectations as the food giant released its quarterly results. A rebound in chicken profits helped offset a decline in the beef business. The results show a stronger than expected recovery in the chicken industry as companies have benefited from both strong consumer demand as well as a drop in soy and corn prices, which are used to feed the birds. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg. on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Second half of the program here on the Scoreboard on this Monday. I know everybody loves their Mondays. I know I sure love Monday. I don't know how you can't love Monday. Anyway, we're here for the next, let's call it 24 minutes or so. So if you have something on your mind, something you want to chat about, the phone number is 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. We were talking a little NASCAR, scheduling, Olympics, NBC, USA, all of that fun stuff, because if you don't know, I believe the reason that the NASCAR Cup Series and all the NASCAR series had to take this break is because the Olympics. And NASCAR is at the part of the season where NBC is covering the races. NBC also owns the Olympics rights. So I guess according to the NBC network, Olympics tops NASCAR. And honestly, they're right. It does. We still have a lot of these Olympic events that have not started yet. Weightlifting begins on Wednesday. So does Taekwondo. We had sport climbing begin today. I don't think I've watched any sport climbing. Tomorrow there's some medals for skateboarding, women's park final and men's park final. Rhythmic gymnastics, modern, I don't even know what that is. Marathon swimming. And there's some more golf that needs to be played as well. It's not quite over yet, the women's side of things. You also have soccer going on today. France and Egypt playing in a game today. I was watching a little bit of that game just to see. Egypt was up 1-0. It looks like the final score here. 3-1 for France. They were able to make that comeback, it looks like. Team USA women's soccer plays tomorrow at noon. They take on Germany. This is the women's semifinal. They'll either play Brazil or Spain. And you got to remember, Spain's women's team, they won the World Cup the last time the Women's World Cup came around back in 2022. So, we're winding things down. But back to the topic that I was chatting about. NASCAR having to take their break probably because of Olympic coverage. And I guess Sunday, that's why the race is so late, because you have the closing ceremonies. You have a few more events that are going to be taking place. But by time 6 o'clock rolls around on the East Coast, it is midnight. It is the next day in Paris. So that's probably why we got to wait until a Sunday night to get back to NASCAR racing. Now, I know that doesn't really talk about why the Truck Series is when it is, but that's because Truck Series is on Fox. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series does not be broadcast on NBC. They have been with Fox Sports for the entire season for quite a while now. They've stuck around with Fox. And you got to remember, as we get into the end of this season, your viewing habits for NASCAR are going to change. The Xfinity Series is going to be broadcasted on a different network. Starting with Bristol, the final race before the playoffs begin, NASCAR Xfinity Series racing will be exclusively on the CW, not on NBC, not on Fox, and come next year, that's all you're going to see for Xfinity. So we'll make sure to keep you updated on that, keep you in the loop. If you don't know where those races are, I'm going to say, hey, it's on the CW. An update on your Olympic medal count, since we are chatting about it. The United States, 20 gold medals, 30 silver medals, 28 bronze medals. That's a total of 78 medals altogether. They lead the silver and bronze, but China, the People's Republic of China, currently has 21 medals. And we have 20 gold medals. So, plenty of time to win the most gold medals. You know, if we can sweep the board, and it looks like we have a good chance of doing that, that'd be awesome. Nothing unites the U.S. quite like being better than everyone at sports, huh? Right? Seeing everybody wrapped up in the American flag. Isn't that great? Nobody's angry. Nobody's yelling about social justice stuff. Just having fun. It's kind of fun. We should all try it. Anyway, try to have fun. We have football. We have football later on this week. The Carolina Panthers, their first preseason game, is coming up this Thursday. Now, there's a few teams that play on Thursday, one of them being the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants. The other game is the Panthers and the Patriots. Panther-Patriots, it's going to be in Foxborough. Now, it looks like the game is going to be on CBS. But, you know, with preseason, it's always confusing to know whether or not the game is actually being broadcast live or if you're going to have to watch it a little bit later on in the day. It looks to me, though, that CBS is going to be covering the Panthers' first preseason game. And if you're interested in the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants, I believe that one is going to be on Fox. And if you miss it live, well, the NFL Network, they always show their reruns. But we're close to the part of the year where I have to make a prediction on the Panthers season. And I'm kind of dreading it this year because I have no idea how to evaluate this team right now. I thought they were going to be better than they were last year, but you know, everything kind of fell apart last year. Nothing was good about last year. I have a feeling they're going to be terrible this year, but I don't know if they're going to be able to be that bad 2 years in a row. And a lot of it has to do with the division that they're in. Like, what is the NFC South really going to be this year? We don't know. The Saints have been mediocre for a few years. The Bucs won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, but they were pretty mediocre, I'd say, well, maybe not mediocre. That might be the wrong word, as they did beat the Eagles in the playoffs. But the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield, what do we have there? The Falcons. Falcons have a new quarterback in town. Kirk Cousins. How's that going to work out for him? Because there's a lot of talent on that Atlanta Falcons team. I'll tell you what. I would be afraid of that team if only I wasn't concerned about Kirk Cousins. But you never know, man. The Panthers, they could be the team to beat. I like the draft they had. They made the offense a little bit more solid. They got some playmakers out there now for Bryce Young. So I'm thinking next week I am going to have my full Panther preview. We're going to spend the entire show, go through every single regular season game that the Panthers have, and come up with a record how I think that they're going to do in the 2024 season. I didn't do good last year. I thought they were going to be really good, and I thought they were going to be serviceable. I didn't think they were going to be the worst team in the NFL, but here we are coming off the worst season the Panthers have ever had. You never know. We'll have to see. We got to go to a final commercial break here on the day. Don't go anywhere. One more segment on the scoreboard when we return. We'll be back right after this.
Is sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off the new work week on a hot and humid note as temperatures climb into the upper 80s near 90 this afternoon, and mainly dry, just a low chance of a pop-up shower or storm, but I don't think we have much to worry about. We'll stay mild as we fall back into the low 70s overnight for our Tuesday. Pretty much the same story, mainly dry, just a couple of pop-up showers or storms. High temperatures are up near 90 for the afternoon. Watching the middle of the week closely as Debbie rides up the southeast coast. Could bring us some rain. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free Thursday concert series with Hey Ladies on August 8th. Hey Ladies brings the best music from the new wave era to life. Catchy choruses and fun beats will encourage you to get up and dance. Langtree Live welcomes lawn chairs, has food and drink for sale in the afternoon and evening, with the Hey Ladies concert beginning at 7 p.m. The Second Friday Street Festival is back for the August edition. Celebrate in style on Friday at the Oak Street Mill in Cornelius with live music, local craft breweries, food trucks, sweet treats, artisans, vendors, a kids zone, games, and giveaways. Call your neighbors, leash up your pups, and come celebrate at the Second Friday Street Festival in Cornelius beginning at 5 p.m. Downtown Statesville opens up for a family-friendly day of fun on the second Saturday of every month. Broad Street welcomes pop-up vendors, raffles, event day specials, do-it-yourself experiences, and more. The second Saturday day of fun begins at 11 a.m. in downtown Statesville. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The school year may have ended, but WSIC's Teacher of the Month contest is still in session. Head to WSICnews.com to vote for your favorite teacher. Winners receive prizes from Nina's Boutique and Brighter Smiles.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final segment here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Chat with me if you have something on your mind. Anything you want to talk about, I'll be here for the next 10 minutes. We got 10 more minutes. We've been talking about the Olympics, baseball, NASCAR returning. Obviously, there's other things going on in the world of sports. College football is going to be back soon. We have a lot of injuries in NFL training camps. We have Charles Jagshaw tore his pectoral muscle for Notre Dame, and he is going to be out for the season. We also had a torn Achilles in the NFL. So I'll tell you what, the preseasons or the training camp injuries, that's what I was trying to say. Training camp injuries are easily one of the saddest things that happen to an athlete. It's just brutal. Some other things going on in the world of sports. Simone Biles earned silver in the floor exercise finals on Monday. That's her fourth medal in Paris. and her 11th overall. She silvered because she stepped out of bounds a couple of times. Otherwise, she was probably going to win the gold because the winner was Brazil's Rebecca Andrea. I know. I'm so sorry that I completely butchered that name. She had a score of 14.166, and Biles had 14.133. So 0.033 was the difference in the victory. And I'll tell you what, if you don't step out of bounds there, you might win the gold. But it's okay, silver. Hey, that's awesome. Biles is 27 years old, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, is this going to be her last Olympics? You know, gymnasts usually peak really early in age, usually late teens, early 20s is when a gymnast is really on top of their game. But I feel like, I don't know, Biles is just different. It's that small body frame. It's got to be easy for her to do some of these tricks with, I think she's only 4'8", somewhere around there. I would expect to see her back in LA. 100%, I expect to see her back. Is she going to be as dominant as she's been? Probably not. It seems unlikely to me. But Simone Biles goes home with gold medals from the team all around and vault finals, and the silver medal that came in what's supposed to be her signature event. But stepping out of bounds a couple of times, man. Remember, she tweaked her calf early in qualifying last week. And to see that she was able to fight through that and get some medals anyway, it's a pretty awesome feat for Biles. On next year's Olympics, Biles says, never say never. Next Olympics are at home, so you never know. I am getting really old. She'll be 31 then, an age when most gymnasts have long since retired. And like I said, I don't know if she's done. I feel like we might see her back in LA. I hope we see her back in LA, to be honest with you. Noah Lyles is going to be making the 200-meter sprint soon. He's in the semifinal in the Triple Quest. If anybody's been paying attention to Noah Lyles and his beef with the NBA, it's pretty funny. Because I hate to say it, I agree with Noah Lyles. Talking about the NBA, he said they call themselves world champions. Like, world champions of what? The United States? Yeah, there is one Canadian team, but I kind of agree with him. Now, I guess the counter argument is there are players from all over the world who are in the NBA, so you could say it's a world championship, but I think the Olympics are more of a world championship than the NBA. But he won the 100-meter gold and apparently gained the respect of all of the NBA players because he did win that gold. You know, I got to agree with him, man. The NBA champions should stop saying that they are world champions. Kind of like baseball, the World Series. No. I mean, I get why you're saying that, but no, you're kind of wrong. Super Bowl champions. We are world champions. Absolutely not. That one is the most egregious. NFL Super Bowl champion is not a world champion. Get out of here with that. So I agree with Lyles. If Lyles wins the gold in Thursday night's 200 finals, he will have taken care of the second event on the sprint triple list. A gold medal as part of the U.S. men's 4x100 relay team Friday will complete the triple. Only 4 men in the history of the Olympics have pulled off the triple. 3 of them are Americans, Jesse Owens, Bobby Morrow, and Carl Lewis. You probably know a lot of those names. Jesse Owens, 1936, Bobby Morrow, 1956, and Carl Lewis, 1984. Whoa! Uh-oh. I'll never get over that Carl Lewis moment. What a legendary moment that was. Speaking of Jesse Owens, let's turn our attention to this day in sports history. On this day in 1936, it was on this day, Jesse Owens wins the 200 meter in a world record time, 20.7 seconds, his third medal of the Berlin Olympics. Also in 1936, Ken Carpenter and Gordon Dunn make an American 1-2 in the men's discus throw. Discus throw is pretty cool. I don't know if anybody's been watching the track and field, which has started this week, but man, track and field events are cool. I've been looking into the steeplechase. Yeah, steeplechase. You know what that one is, right? That's when they jump over the barrier into a puddle. I don't understand half of these Olympic sports. I honestly can't say I understand them, but steeplechase, yeah, that's a pretty fun one. It was on this day in 1963, Craig Breedlove set the world land speed record of 404 miles per hour in Spirit of America at the Bonneville Salts Flat in Utah. That was on this day, 1963. A little bit earlier than that, the Chicago Bears beat the Montreal Alouettes 34-16 in a preseason exhibition match in Montreal, proving yet again that the NFL reigns supreme to the CFL. I don't remember the last time that an MLB or an NFL team played a CFL team. I think it's so funny that an American team has played in the CFL more recently than a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. Ooh, gotta love the rivalry with Canada. On this day in 1973, Phil Necro no-hits the San Diego Padres 9-0. It was the first no-hitter for the franchise in Atlanta. 1979, Pete Rose collects his National League record 2,427th hit in a 5-2 home loss versus the Pirates. And let's see, what do we have that's a little bit more recent? 2021. Lionel Messi left Barcelona on this day because of Spanish La Liga regulations on player payments. And as we know, after he left, he came over to the MLS, which is currently on a little bit of a hold. And one more on this day, 2013. MLB bans New York Yankee infielder Alex Rodriguez for 211 games as a result of the Biogenesis Laboratories scandal. 211 games. He is lucky that wasn't a lifetime ban. I had a poster of Alex Rodriguez on my wall growing up, and when I heard about this, I tore it down. Tore it right down. Cheater. Anyway, thanks for tuning into the Scoreboard today. Hope everybody enjoyed their time. Hope everybody got home safe and sound. I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk more Olympics, start previewing the NFL preseason some more, and talk about anything else happening in the world of sports. Until then, have a good night, everyone.